Besides the spinal subluxation creating nerve compromise, other joints can be affected by joint dysfunction, and these create a kinking of the chain. Joint dysfunction is usually associated with muscle splinting, spasm, or tightness to reduce joint motion and any other further joint damage. While the joint can move, it is not able to express its full range of motion. A joint's inability to move in its full range of motion will eventually cause a problem. The musculoskeletal system should maintain a neutral stance when standing. That means it's not leaning, tilting, or twisting in any direction. The skeleton that is not able to maintain a neutral position is compromised. It is either restricting something, stretching something, or asking the muscles and joints to move and contract in ways they just aren't designed to. Long-term effects of compression, stretch, and extended muscle contraction lead to problems, some of which you are probably experiencing. How neutral and healthy someone's skeleton is can be identified by performing a postural assessment. Just like when we look at a building, we can see how strong and healthy it is. A new building usually stands tall, is straight, and looks strong, versus the old barn out in the meadow which leans to one side, has doors falling off, and looks like it's about to fall over at any minute. When a structure is leaning, twisting, or tilting, we might have second thoughts about going into it. And if we do, we expect to see problems inside associated with a weak structure. Cracked and tilted floors, doors that don't open and close well, cracks in the walls and the ceiling. Recognize this building? What about now? When we look at the Leaning Tower of Pisa, we immediately notice that the building is leaning. So what caused this leaning? Is it because there are too many people on one side? Or that they used the wrong size bricks on one side? Or that the wind blows hard in only one direction? No, it's because the foundation of the building is not strong and it compromises the structure above. Because of this, the building is stressed and has symptoms associated with a weak foundation. For example, we've all been in a building or a house with a faulty foundation. What do you notice? Uneven floors that are difficult to walk on, cracks in the walls and the ceilings, windows and doors that don't open and close well. These are all problems for sure, but if we fixed each one by itself, it would return because the original underlying problem of a faulty foundation has not been addressed. Once the foundational issues are resolved, then when we fix each of the problems, there's a much greater chance that the problem will be resolved permanently. So, this is a good analogy for the body as well. When we look at the postural assessment, we are looking for the same things we look for in a building: shifting, tilting, or twisting, and general impressions of strength or any other issues that might compromise the skeleton. Musculoskeletal neutrality is critical. A system that is neutral, requires the least amount of energy to operate, is not compressing or dominating or restricting any other part of the system. A neutral spine is one where certain landmarks line up. For example, from the front, the nose, chin, sternum, and belly button should line up. A line dropped from the belly button should go exactly in between the legs. From the side, the ear, middle of the shoulder, hips, knees, and ankle bone should all line up. When we move away from neutral, our body will have to compensate, many times with devastating structural changes that happen over time. So, deviations from neutral can help to identify areas that are compromised, as well as overall structural health and strength. The compromised areas are associated with joint irritation, swelling, muscle tightness, restricted motion, and recurring injuries, all of which not only create mechanical problems, poor performance, and are energy draining, but also draw on the body's healing system resources and eventually lead to degenerative and arthritic joint changes. So, you can see why pushing through the pain or waiting until the pain is bad enough to stop you is like waiting for the Leaning Tower of Pisa to just fall over before we do anything about it, and why many experience reoccurring problems that just don't seem to go away.